But anyway, you're flooded, things flooded, you should read that. And so I just wondered, because when Nelson County, they said it would be hundreds of years. They said that comes to the community. So when it decided to miss things. Sure. Yes, sir.
All right, time 7 o'clock, and I'd like to call this meeting, regular meeting of the Meade County Board of Supervisors to order to declare the fact that we have a quorum. Ask Mr. Whitaker to give us a brief invocation, and then we'll all stand and repeat the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, if you will.
Gracious Father, we love you and praise you. Just want to celebrate this day that you've given to us. We want to glorify you and bless your name. Let this meeting tonight just be pleasing in your sight, and I pray this in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Whitaker, and thank those of you who participated. We got the agenda before us. Is there any need to amend the agenda?
No, sir, there's no need to amend it, but we did leave out, which is going to be a regular monthly presentation by the school system. So they're here tonight, they're prepared, so that would be number 3. It was just left off of the list.
Okay. All right. Can I get a motion then to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion, further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have, the motion is carried. First item on the agenda is that of the approval of minutes of the September 19, 2018 regular meeting and the minutes of the June 25th, 2018 Planning Commission joint public hearing. Those were included in your booklet. Questions or comments on those minutes?
Move to approve.
The motion to approve as submitted. Further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is carried. Item number 3, we are at the approval of the financial reports. We have the treasurer's September 2018 accountability balance financial reports. We have the treasurer's September 2018 balance sheet. We have the revenue report for September 2018. We have the expenditures report for September 2018. And we have the accounts payable list for September 2018. These were included in your booklet. Questions or comments? Or is there any one of them that needs to be pulled out of this group? What's the pleasure of the board? Question or comments?
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve as submitted, those reports. Further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, ayes have it. Public comment period, that's, gives the public an opportunity to comment and, talk about anything that's not, any item that's not on the agenda tonight. Any item that's not on the agenda tonight, public comment, I'll get you, I'll get you shortly. Okay. Any item that's not on the agenda tonight?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Matthew Brown, and I'm a District 3 taxpayer. I attended last month's meeting and watched as one member put forth 4 different motions: DMV, public comments, broadcasting meetings, and the water tower. I've never claimed to be a rocket surgeon, but I do like to think I've got a little bit of common sense. I suspect many Amelia taxpayers, including the ones watching the meeting broadcast, feel the same way about themselves. We may not know all the top secret details of the board's dealings, but we are able to apply common sense to the parts of y'all's dealings that you choose to make public and share with us. That's why last month's meeting just didn't add up. The treasurer has offered to take on the DMV responsibilities. Her employees are all for it. The DMV is all for it. The outlay to make it happen is small. She just asked to keep the profits in her department to spread around amongst her employees for taking on the extra work. Y'all could even change your mind after a year if it didn't work out. This board voted it down and has now posted an opening for one more full-time county employee to run the DMV, along with all the assorted benefits and added cost. Does that make common sense? Public comments at county meetings regarding current issues is as American as baseball, apple pie, and Chevrolet and Dinah Shore. Last month, a member of this board actually said that the board doesn't have all the facts on issues at monthly meetings. The member went on to say that since the board is just learning about issues on each monthly agenda, the same as Joe Blow off the streets, they don't vote on things in the agenda. They just talk about them. Wow. I've attended a few meetings over the years, and I'm here to tell you, y'all do vote on items on the agenda. In my opinion, this almost borders on taxation without representation. Does that make common sense? Broadcasting these meetings has been really helpful for many concerned taxpayers. Consider your constituents who are unable to risk coming out at night, down back roads in bad weather. They can now watch the meetings from the safety and security of their own homes. This is a win-win for open government responding to the people who pay the bills. But when a member made a motion for the board to investigate and invest a small sum of money in making this service better for viewers, it was suggested to him that a subcommittee be formed to investigate it further. That's government talk for good night, Gracie, dead on arrival. Then came the goodnight kiss. He was told the tech person for the county is about to retire. Bang, bong, boom, up in smoke. Did that make common sense? Another expensive water tower has been set in motion and put upon the taxpayers' backs. So we'll have a place for water while Big Blue is being cleaned out. As it's been said right here in these meetings, the state requires this cleaning every 8 years. It's obviously done to ensure the water supply isn't poisoning the poor village residents. After all, since they were strong-armed into giving up their functioning wells 15 years ago for city water, it's kind of the least you can do, right? Make sure you're holding up your part of the deal and supplying them with safe, clean water. I think I wouldn't want to wait any longer than needed to get that taken care of, if it was me, especially since one board member openly admitted we've been 15 years on Big Blue without cleaning. Sheesh, there's an admission. Then one member made a motion to halt the new tower plans, which would take years to become operational anyway, and hire one of the many available scuba teams that clean towers for a living. It would be fast, much cheaper, and would spare us all the additional cost and burden of an extra tower that even your own numbers admit we do not need. Big Blue could supply 3 villages without breaking a sweat. This board voted it down. Does that make common sense? I'm sure there's more than just common sense required to make these important decisions. That's why we taxpayers hired y'all fine people. How about you start sharing a little bit of that top secret info with us poor regular taxpayers so we'll fully understand just why y'all do the things you do? Who knows? We might just understand. We may be the unwashed masses, but please don't forget, we actually pay the bills around here with our hard work, dedication, sweat, and taxes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone else? I have Madeline House on the agenda, so when we get to Madeline House, okay. Anyone else would like to make a comment on any item that's not on the agenda tonight? Going once? Going twice? All right, I'll get back to the agenda. Item number 4, under staff committees, organizations, reports, and presentations. VDOT monthly status report. David Whitaker, Planning and Zoning Director, will present the monthly status report of VDOT activities in the county. A copy of the report was included in our booklet. Mr. Whitaker?
I highlighted a couple of things that stand out on here. Is the work on 307 was scheduled to start Monday, and it probably did. I'm just forewarned that it's a paving project and traffic will be limited to one direction at a time. So if you're headed to Farmville on 307, expect delays in both directions. I'm not real sure how long that's gonna be, but again, it's a simple paving, I think from 360 to the Nottaway line, so it shouldn't be too long. As Mr. Scott brought up last month, he had a draft of the 360 overlay report, or speed study. You did get an official copy of that came in, and Brenda sent that to you via email. Hopefully, I think it was last week. Okay, you have it in front of you. There's not a whole lot of intrigue and magic to that. They did not find any reason to change that speed limit. They did find 3 minor things that are all VDOT issues, and they're looking into those to correct them. Mr. Gleason alluded to some work that's going to happen at the intersections at Painville. They're going to change some stop signs around out there. Not sure when that's going to be. So the folks out in the Painville area will need to pay attention to that, because they've been doing things one way for a long time. And those traffic flows are going to change a little bit. So just forewarned, if you're in that area, please pay attention to the changes that are going to happen if they haven't yet. With everything that's happened with this last weekend, there's some bridges out. They're going to be out for a while, and VDOT's bringing in contractors, and I don't have a whole lot of information on that. One of them's on 614 just below TC Reeves. It's a fairly large bridge. It washed out on either end, and they're looking at 3 to 4 months to fix that. There's another one out on Wills Road that's in the same condition. So there will be detours, and you can't get there from here signs up. So please be aware of that. And when Kevin catches up, I'm sure he's going to report back to let everybody, you folks know, and we can get it to Wayne, everything that they're going to have to do. And I'll be happy to entertain any questions.
Questions from board members? All right, thank you, Mr. Whitaker. Item number 5, presentation of by John Tyler Community College. We have representatives here to provide updates on JTTC and to answer any questions you might have. And do me a favor and identify yourself. And the reason I didn't call the name because I knew I would mispronounce it.
You might find this shocking, sir, but we're used to that. Mr. Chairman and members of the board and Mr. Harvey, we sure appreciate the opportunity to come here and do our biannual presentation of our annual update for you. I think before we start, it'd be right to say that the residents of Amelia County and across our service area have been in our thoughts and prayers regarding these recent hurricanes and the aftermath. We had the tornadoes after the first hurricane that went through found us sheltered for 2.5 hours in our tornado shelter with many students and faculty and staff. And, you know, I'm entering my 6th year as president. I sure like being close to those folks, but let me tell you something, 2.5 hours in a shelter, I sure understand a lot more about their needs and wishes than I did prior to. But anyway, we hope the best for you folks and again, others across our service area and across our Commonwealth. It's always a pleasure to come here and talk about some of the work that's going on. Am I doing this wrong? So I'm joined this evening. They'll introduce themselves. I'm Ted Raspiller. I'm starting my 6th year as president at John Tyler. I'm with Dr. Bill Figge, who's our vice president for learning, Fred Taylor, who's our director of government relations and administrative affairs, and Holly Walker, who's our director of public relations. So we all got a little piece here that we have a little bit of expertise in, and we'll do the best we can. And as always, I'll take those easy softball questions, and these folks are here to take the hard ones from you. So we'll do the best we can. We're encouraged to see the growth in the Amelia residents that are attending John Tyler. We're excited about that. You can see we kind of broke this down. These will be students in the credit programs, and about 28% are in transfer degrees. That would be our Associate of Arts degrees and science that are designed to transfer to 4-year schools. The career and technical programs are those that are designed where a student would complete them and go into the workplace. A good example of that might be nursing or might be IT. And advanced manufacturing. We have some certificate programs that are shorter than the 2-year degrees. And we've got 51% in what we call pre-major. Now that doesn't mean that something bad is going on. That just means that they're not in a specific major. They're likely in their first year. And more importantly, they might be, for example, in nursing program, there's at least a year of prerequisites they do, the science classes, et cetera. So again, that doesn't mean that something bad's going on, but that gives you an idea of kind of how that spreads out for those 281 folks. And Community College Workforce Alliance, this is our non-credit programs, or what we've traditionally thought about as non-credit programs, workforce development. Pardon me, it's a workforce alliance. It's our partnership with J. Sargent Reynolds. Rather than all of us stepping on each other's toes all around town, we've gone together. We have one common workforce development service, which has really been a great way for us to meet the needs. They serve 4,000 or 5,000 students a year across the entire Central Virginia region, our district and Reynolds. And most of this is customized training and people working for credentials. They may be in the workplace. They may be getting basic certifications to go into the workplace. 2 years ago, the legislature started a program we call Fast Forward. And for the first time, this allowed financial aid for students. They can't typically, they can't receive the standard financial aid they do on the credit side, Pell Grant, things of a federal or even state nature. So this Fast Forward program allows financial aid for them, and it goes like this. It used to be if you wanted to come to the truck driving program or you wanted to come to the welding program or one of their IT certifications, when you got the money together, you paid the money and you started the program, which would be fine. But, you know, for a lot of folks that are out of work and they got 26 weeks to get back into work and they want to get their CDL license and it's over $3,000, they may not have that laying around, and that was always a barrier for them. So we worked hard, and the legislature, the way this Fast Forward works is the student now pays the first 1/3. And we've got some different ways that we can help them come up with that 1/3, and oftentimes an employer will come up with that or a potential employer. When they complete the training program, the state reimburses the college the second third of the cost. And then when they test and complete their credential, whatever that might be, then we get our third. So that's caused us to sharpen our game, not just in making sure that we were able to track who actually tested, because we don't always award the credentials. So we needed to sharpen our game in how we track those things, but more importantly, being sure that they are receiving a credential that then they can go right into the workplace and have state-of-the-art skills. And you can see, we know from the data that we've looked at, 25 to 50% or more increase in their salaries by completing the credential. These would be ones that are in the workplace already. And I think we had 37 this last year from Amelia that participated in that, just to give you some idea. They've trained, CCWA is the #1 producer of the credential attainment in the state. So they've trained 800 or 900 across the region. We just wanted to give you some idea how that's working out. I think it's working out well. And the state's added a little bit of money to that pot. It started out statewide, a pot of money about $5 million, went to $10 million last year, $9.5 million. We're asking them to double it this session to begin July 1st. We just can't meet the demand. We run out of money statewide. We run out of money in this Fast Forward program. Last year we ran out of November. And so they thought something was going on. They came and audited all of the community colleges, and they said, no, this is legitimate. This is the need that employers have for these credentials and the need that individuals have so they can get into the workplace or continue. I'm going to pass it now to Bill, and he'll give you an update on what's going on over on the credit side.
Good evening. So we have over 60 degree certificate and career studies certificates at Tyler, and community's in our middle name on purpose because we're the community's college. And so we offer programs in all of these areas with the goal of focusing on students being able to transfer directly to the four-year school of their choice without having to take more credits than 120 to get their bachelor's degree. Or the program is designed for them to go directly to work. And so you can see all of the different career clusters that we have. When you look at the first one there, our electricity, our HVAC, our welding programs are going through the roof. Students are enrolling at a rapid pace. We know that industry in the area is looking for those skilled workers, and we're looking to offer even more programs in that area. Arts and communication, when you look at graphic design and web design, those areas are growing rapidly as well. And so those are some type of programs we have. Of course, everybody wants to start a business in this gig economy. So we've got business administration, that's a transfer. We also have business management and an entrepreneurship program where if students want to start their own business, they can do a quick one semester career studies certificate in order to get an entrepreneurship career studies certificate. Education, trying to find teachers to teach our kids of the future. And so we know there's a teacher shortage throughout the country. And so we have a direct 2+2 program with several universities to get more teachers into the workforce. Engineering, computer science, and natural science, part of the STEM program. We know many students need to go in this area. This is a big part of industry as well. These programs, we started computer science 2 years ago with 6 students. Now we're over 150 students that have enrolled in computer science. General transfer, those are part of that pre-major. Those who they don't quite know what they want to do, but they can take the core curriculum of the first 2 years to be able to transfer. So when they do get out of the pre-major, they go into the general studies. Health sciences, you might have seen our EMS truck outside here in Amelia. We're offering an EMS class here in Amelia. So we have EMS. We also have nursing. The hospitals can't get enough nurses. And so the nursing program is even more vibrant. We're looking to expand that program. Government human services, law and public safety, we always need those employees. We have criminal justice, we have social work. And then also when you look at information technology, we know IT is rapidly changing. Some of the programs that we're actually looking at, we've had programming and networking, but what about artificial intelligence? What about health informatics? What about Google Cloud Computing? We just kind of constantly keep track of the programs that are needed in information technology to ensure we're keeping up with industry needs. So with that, we do have some official programs that started just this year, advanced manufacturing technology. We've always had career studies certificates and certificates. Now we've expanded it to an associate degree in advanced manufacturing technology. We have a nurse aid, medication aid, acronym for that, CNA program. We know many home health care aides are needed in our communities. We've actually started massage therapy. 143 jobs are available within our service area. And so business came to us with a need. And so that's a brand new program that's starting this semester. And then theater, technical theater specialization. We built a brand new theater within our T building at the Midlothian campus. And so we've taken our general studies and created what's called an Associate of Fine Arts degree in theater. We also have a music program that has started. Interesting thing with music, you think of music that, we're just teaching people to play instruments and things. But think of all the games that people play now and the music that's behind those games. Music is a big industry now, not just in the entertainment, but also in other aspects of life, how we get music. One thing with career and major exploration, we have online career coach. We encourage all of you to go to this. Tell all the students in the area to go to it. What this does, students can go in and do a job assessment. Adults can go in and do assessment. What careers might be interested. When you click on it, it takes you to actual jobs that are open in that career interest and to the majors that we have at Tyler that goes to that career. So it's real-time data, and it's not Virginia, it's not state, it's our within 100 miles of our campus, actually 50 miles. It's within 50 miles of our campus of the jobs that are available in that area. So please go to that website. And then the last thing is the high school students. We look forward to hearing the education update because we have a wonderful partnership with Amelia, 111 dual enrollment students. That's them taking college classes in the high school where they get dual credit, the high school credit, as well as the college credit for the courses that they're taking. And then the concurrent high school program is where they are coming directly to our campus. If you recall, 5 years ago, Amelia was the pioneer, the trailblazer, if you will, sending 7 students for precision machining. They were the first ones to graduate in our concurrent enrollment program, the students from Amelia. We've expanded it. We now have 10 in precision machining, 7 HVAC, 9 welding, early childhood. And then we also have students from Amelia Academy in 2 of the programs as well. We'd love to expand that even more, again, providing opportunities for the kids and the adults of Amelia County. I'm now going to pass it over to Fred.
Thank you, Bill. Good evening. Thank you for having us. My pleasure to talk about a very exciting capital outlay project that we have at our Chester campus. We opened up a brand new 70,000 square foot building on the Midlothian campus 2 years ago. And now we're doing a major construction and renovation project at the Chester campus, a total of $34 million, which is funded for the most part by the state. We also have some local funds that we have to put into the project also. It's a twofold project. The Nicholas Center, which has been a student and workforce training center, was built in 1991. It's about a 25,000 square foot building. We are basically doubling the size of that building, renovating the existing building and adding on to it, creating a true workforce training and conference center at the Chester campus that will be able to serve not just our region, but all of Central Virginia. And that's very exciting. We have a new technical skills lab. There's going to be breakout rooms for training, conference and meeting space, classrooms, and other areas in that new facility. The other building is Byrd Hall, which is one of our original buildings at the Chester campus, which opened in 1967. It's a 37,000 square foot building. That building is being completely gutted and renovated. It's going to look brand new inside. All new nursing labs, EMS classes, all kinds of science labs, chemistry, biology, anatomy, and physiology. For the past 12 years, we've had our nursing program on the campus of Johnston Willis Hospital, and it's been a great partnership, and we're going to continue our partnership with them, but we're actually going to be moving our nursing program classes back onto the Chester campus, and all of this, these 2 projects are scheduled to be completed next summer in time for the start of the fall semester in 2019. If you go to the next slide, it's just a rendering of the skills lab. It's a lab that could do all types of workforce training. We're not setting up for any particular type of training because you never know, what might be needed. There might be offering one type of class one semester and other types of classes the next semester. And then the next slide is just a rendering of what our nursing, state-of-the-art nursing labs with simulators and everything that's going to be at the Chester campus. So we're very excited about that project. We're always looking to do everything we can to improve our facilities and our programs to serve the people of our region. Now I'll turn it over to Holly, and she'll talk about connecting to Tyler.
Hi, thank you for having us here today. One of the things I wanted to make sure that I brought to your attention is there's a lot of ways that you and the citizens of Amelia County can connect to us. You may have met some of the folks from our Office of Student Engagement. It's a fairly new office, but they hit the ground running, and they are visiting schools. They're going to community festivals, career days, college days. If you have anything that goes on in the county, if you let them know, they will do everything they can to be here and to talk about whatever you need. They've been helping out high schools with PSAT days the last week or two. They also are the office that helps us with our tours of campus. We now have a setup on our website. If somebody wants to come into our campus, we have student ambassadors. So we have students who come out and show they can give the student experience, answer questions, give that student perspective to anyone of any age who might have an interest in exploring what we have. We also are on Facebook on these different sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I encourage you all to follow us. We try to keep that as up to date as humanly possible. There's so much going on, sometimes it's a little hard to keep up with it, but please do follow us. The other thing is I wanted to let you know about some upcoming events that are happening pretty quickly here. Engineering Transfer Night's coming up next week, and that one is one that's really designed for anyone who has an interest in engineering or computer science. That one will let students or prospective students find out what's involved in getting into these programs, what kind of career you can get, but also the pathway where you can start at Tyler, get your 2-year degree, save a bunch of money along the way, and then we're going to have some of our 4-year partners there doing Q&A and talking about that transfer process. Veterans Day is going to be, we alternate campuses, but space, as Fred indicated with our construction project, is a little tight at the Chester campus this year. So Veterans Day will be at Midlothian. We have a speaker, music, we have a memorial tree planting, a lot of ways, so we invite anybody from the community that would like to honor our veterans to please come. At the bottom here, I put something that's actually happening this week. It's a little bit of a fun event. Our theater does a lot of things on our Midlothian campus, and the last few years, they've been holding this spectacular fall festival. It is a family-friendly event. It is free. Folks can come on out, do a little trick-or-treat trail, haunted house, some other fun things. I know the kids have a lot of fun with it. And then their fall presentation is Dark of the Moon, which is coming up very soon as well. There's information on our website about that. We hope to see you out on campus having fun and learning about Tyler and, as always, honoring our veterans. Thank you.
That concludes what we wanted to say. Certainly, if there's any questions now or at any point.
Board members,
we'd be
I
happy
think
to-
I have
Ken, yes,
a
sir.
couple questions. Ask you a question.
Your workforce development and training programs, are you tied in with the South Central Workforce Development Board or just more in the eastern direction?
We are not tied in with the South
Yeah,
Central.
it's more eastern.
Workforce Board.
Because Amelia falls under that board.
Yeah, and I think they're the only one that does. But that doesn't mean employers are the ones we really work with most closely, and we cross those. But yeah, we can work with them and coordinate with them, but we're not in that footprint except for Amelia. You're right.
Also, are you a certified test site for ACT, the NCRC work-ready communities?
We have a testing center, I know we do, Pearson. I'm not sure if we have those specific ones on the workforce side, because those would be more on the workforce side with that, but we can find out exactly all the testing we have and get that.
Because
to you.
we're trying to become a work-ready community, and we
Yeah.
need sites for people to get tested. Our high school does it, but the more the better,
Yeah,
especially
that-
for current workers.
That certainly could be an opportunity.
Yeah, I think you said ACT. That's the Work Keys
Yeah, we're keys.
program. Yeah,
That's right.
It's a
we are
national-
that with,
National College Readiness Certificate.
Yeah, we are that with CCWA. We kind of do it as needed. We're glad to do it. We've got the trained folks, so that one we do have. But We don't do it just people walking in, we do it as needed, and we can certainly,
But you can proctor the test.
absolutely.
Also, do you have any plans for an electrical program? Electrician training? You do?
You want to talk about it?
Sure. Yeah. What's that? Yeah, so we have electricity program. It's at our Chester campus.
Is it teaching electrical theory or is it teaching practical skills?
It's both. It's both. It goes all the way up. You can get a technical studies with an electrical track associate degree, and you can get a residential electricity or commercial electricity certificate.
And are your engineering programs engineering or engineering technology?
We have both, actually.
You do?
So we have it on the applied side, so you can go directly to work. And then we also have it where you can transfer to go on to a 4-year degree and beyond. Yes, sir.
The only other question I had was, and this is just for my benefit, I've asked other people and they don't know, but why does Amelia fall under John Tyler?
We like
When
Amelia.
most of the other groups that we're associated with have 7 or 8 counties to our west. They go under Southside Community College? Do you have any idea why the line was drawn the way it was? I'm not complaining. I want to understand it.
I think it has something to do with the PDC setup, which was some time ago.
When the community college system was originally conceived, it was set up so that the idea was that everybody would be able to be within, I think it was a 45-minute drive, either half an hour or 45-minute drive of a community college. And so originally, we serve all the way from Charles City County to Sussex, Surrey, Dinwiddie, Prince George, Petersburg, Hopewell, Chesterfield, Colonial Heights, and Amelia. So we have 10 localities. And so the original campus was put in Chester. And then in 2000, we opened the Midlothian campus just because of the huge growth in that area. So whoever drew that line at that point in time, I guess when they calculated the mileage, they put Amelia in. It figured that most of Amelia was closer to Chester than it is to Keysville. The Southside has I guess Keysville is the closest campus to Southside. They also have one down in Brunswick County, I think, also.
Christiana campus.
Christiana, yeah. So I don't know exactly how many miles it is from Amelia Courthouse to Keysville, but it must be a little bit slightly farther than it is to Chester.
Thanks.
I think we have the second largest district geographically, Southside being the largest. So, but we're not giving any up without a fight. So we'll be glad to. And I'll be happy, Councilman Scott, to get you contact information for the CCWA folks for the testing or wherever that should go. We can reach out with that kind of contact information for the board and you, Mr. Harden, as well.
Do you do any kind of satellite programs with CTE schools, high schools, trade schools?
What do you mean by a satellite program?
Do you
Like in,
do you have any programs that are at local schools like our ANTC out there? Could you do that?
yeah, we could do that. And I don't know if we're doing any of that now in the dual enrollment program with the 111. It might be that's not just designed for transfer students. So we might have some of that. I
Yeah,
know
they
we've
go
got
your
some that
way.
come
I'm asking if you are open to having programs at our school.
Yes, and that 111 in the dual enrollment are at your school. I don't know exactly what they're in. So some of them might be getting credit from us in career and tech at the high school already.
Okay.
The concurrent enrollment, it's confusing. The concurrent enrollment, those are ones that come our way, but absolutely, and we'd be happy to look at ways we can expand that because we know the demands in the workplace today, and we'd be happy to do that. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
Thanks.
Good. Any other questions? Thank you so much for
Thank you. And
sharing that
you are
information. And
well represented on our board by Ms.
I was
Becky
going to
Morris,
say,
who comes quarterly and is, she's certainly a strong advocate for Amelia County
yeah.
and our other students as well. So
she represents us well.
By the way, I love John Tyler. My wife's an alumnus.
great, thank you. That's good to know. Let me tell you about our major gifts campaign that we got. Appreciate the board's time.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. And appreciate the information that was included in our packet, for example. Very helpful. All right, we're now at old and new business, special event permit, item number 6.
Mr. Chairman, before we get to that,
Yes.
we left off the
Oh, that's right.
schools. So
That's
Dr.
right.
Smith and Dr. Reesner are here,
Yes,
We
that's,
good?
that's good.
please. And that was me.
That's all right.
Didn't see it.
Not a problem.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, it's good to be here this evening.
Yes.
You know, I'm really impressed with the program that was outlined by John Tyler Community College, and our students benefit greatly, but many of our adults do as well. And we're glad to see their programs growing and expanding the career opportunities for our students. More immediately, I really appreciate the work that VDOT and county emergency planners have done with us now through 2 major storms. And working closely with our transportation department, we've been able to get back into school in a reasonable amount of time. Today was our first day back, and that went successfully. We've missed 4 days of school so far because of the storms. And when the calendar was planned for the year, there were 5 makeup days that were planned. Those all focus on when snowflakes fall, and we're not there yet. So because of the early nature of those, we have added 2 days into our calendar. November 1st and 2nd are, one was a professional development day, training for teachers. The other one was solely designated as a parent conference day. Conferences were going to start, I think it was 2 o'clock, and go until 7 o'clock in the evening. So we have made that November 1st a combination part school day, and then we've protected the conference time. So from 3 to 7, recognizing the need for parents, especially at the end of the first grading period, to be able to talk to teachers. So 4 of those days missed, we're making up 2 of them, so we're not so far behind as we move into the winter. I'm happy to report that there was no damage to the schools. We were able also to rent a mobile freezer unit so that we could protect our frozen foods, our commodity foods, and we had very little loss there as a result of that. And you probably read about our security grant award from the state, the $47,000 that requires a local match of about $11,000, which we're happy to do. And this will allow us to continue to improve our security setup in each of the school buildings and in the in our office that also houses the culinary arts program and our alternative school. So those funds will be put to really good use very quickly. And one reminder, our superintendent search process is well underway, and the interviews started, some of them were today, most are tomorrow, and then the community forum gathering is tomorrow night at the high school in the auditorium. And so would encourage everybody who would like to come out and take part in that. It's a very important next step for our school system and for our community. I'm glad to turn the mic over now to Dr. Reesner. She has some updates about improving our instructional program. Dr. Reesner.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'd like to share 3 important instructional updates with you this month. The first is that we will be conducting walkthrough and learning walk observations at all 3 schools. This was originally scheduled for October 15th, but we've had to push it back to October 29th. And through this process, our central office administrators, our school-based administrators come together and observe 1/3 of the teachers in October, 1/3 of the teachers in January, and 1/3 of the teachers in March, so that every teacher in Amelia participates in this observation. And what we're looking for specifically is a snapshot of the level of student engagement that we see in the classrooms. The second is that we will be holding our school improvement process meetings. They're scheduled for October 25th. We have almost completed our first quarter benchmark assessments, and so these meetings will give us an opportunity to analyze that data in relation to our school improvement plans and our Virginia Department of Education school quality profiles. Finally, I'd like to inform you that we have several different teams of teachers, including myself, attending Department of Education sponsored SOL Institutes in English, Math, and History this week. Science is to be held later. And the Department of Ed sponsors these institutes in a train-the-trainer model to push out curriculum updates and important information in the core content areas that they would like for school divisions to be aware of. Today, I attended the K-2 math strand that was held at the Coker Center in Midlothian, and I will be providing professional development for our elementary, kindergarten, first and second grade teachers on these important math updates probably within the next 2 weeks.
Okay.
Okay. You have any questions this evening?
Comment from board members? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, are we now ready to go to?
Yes, sir.
New business. All right, we have a special event permit request for the Amelia Christmas Parade. Application has been received to hold the annual Amelia Christmas Parade on December the 1st, 2018 at 4 p.m. A copy of the application and the resolution about street closing was included in your booklet.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Got a motion to approve this annual activity. Further discussion on ayes have it, the motion is carried. Item number 7 is the Amelia Recycles Day in Amelia County, Virginia. We've got a resolution to recognize November the 15th, 2018 as America Recycles Day in Amelia County. A copy of that resolution was in your booklet. Pleasure, board. Got a motion to approve the resolution as presented. Further discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it, the motion is carried. We're down to the county administrator's report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, on the county administrator's report, we've got the host fee from Waste Management this month is $57,825.
All right.
That's on it's steady on it was a little uptrend and now it's steady. So obviously we're pleased about that. The Southside Virginia Community College newsletter, it was just pointed out that we're in the John Tyler region, but most of our regional partners, our regional relationships are out of Southside, so we see a whole lot more of them than we do John Tyler. Madeline's house, I'm sorry, Madeline's house is the next item.
And there's a representative from Madeline's house here who wants to make a presentation.
Okay.
Come forward.
All right.
You can state your name. And
Yes.
then. Okay.
I'm Candy Freeman. I am the Domestic Violence Program Director for Madeline's House. I come out this evening, first of all, good evening. I come out this evening to present the board with a letter of appreciation and gratitude for your continued support for our victims and survivors that we serve within our 12 county service area, and Amelia County being one of that 12th county. And we greatly appreciate your contribution as a county and as officials seeing the need to do so, because with that contribution, we're able to now serve the county residents here of Amelia better with items that they need, whether gas to get to job interviews, uniforms for those jobs, or what have you that they may need when they're coming to us with nothing. So again, on behalf of our executive director, Michelle Laxonen, and our board of directors and other staff, we greatly appreciate it.
And I mentioned the fact that you had a copy of the newsletter was in our packet.
Thank you.
Copy of the newsletter.
The one thing that I was going to mention was in that newsletter, it says they're moving to electronic distribution of the newsletter. So if anybody wants to continue to receive these things, please go onto the website and log on www.madelines, MADELINES, house.org.
All right. Okay. Good. All right. All right. Comments from board members? Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just like to say my wife's on the board of Madeline's House, and if anybody in Amelia needs any information or whatever, she's available for that too.
Okay, the next item is the Virginia Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. It's the guideline for participation in the aerial treatment for the Virginia Cooperative Gypsy Moth Suppression Program. I called Doug Audley as soon as we got this letter. Gypsy moths are not close to our area. There's no need in us to activate anything there, but it is something to keep an eye on. Item number 12, Piedmont Regional Juvenile Detention Center Commission. These are the minutes from the last meeting. The big thing there is the chiller had been causing problems with getting regular repairs. And we put it out for bid, and we're going to replace it with the Johnson Control Unit. And it's going to be a $65,000 project. And we decided to put it off as long as possible. If we had done it in August, we would have had to rent a temporary system to keep the building cool while the units swapped over. So a decision was made to make it sometime after October, so we don't have to rent the temporary unit. Our number of it's not, I guess it's a number of residents, don't call them inmates, is up. It's 44 this month. The item number 13, Piedmont Regional Jail Authority Board meeting. Two big things here. The medical RFP, medical was working us over. We decided to go out for bid, and the bids are in. No decisions have been made, but it looks like we'll have a new provider based on the numbers and services that were offered. And I also am glad to report that we are officially out from under the judicial order that was in place with the Department of Justice. That letter came in yesterday, so we've met all of the requirements that they laid out for the jail authority to do, and we're out from under their oversight. The Piedmont Senior Resources has got a newsletter in the booklet, the monthly newsletter. And Piedmont Court Services, there's one letter in there, and it refers to the annual report, which is available online. If anybody would like to read it, or we do have a hard copy in the office. And the quarterly reports are in the board book for your review. If anybody's got any questions about them, we'd be glad to pull them out and address them. We do have two separate small reports I would like to give. An update on the weather events is first. Got this from Mr. Emerson today. I'm sure everybody here was affected by the weather. Everybody's little neighborhood or little community had something going on. And until you got to travel around, it was at that point in time you realized that everybody was affected. The emergency squad was on high alert and available. The fire department was just outstanding. I've never heard so many calls when 360 is closed down because it's flooded. And the policemen are so busy doing other things that they can't come control traffic. You count on those firefighters to come in, and they just did an outstanding job for 3 or 4 days. In fact, it's still going on now. Then we had the VDOT crews were out. At no time in my lifetime here has a weather event destroyed as many roads and bridges and caused roads to need to be blocked, signs put up. And they were absolutely outstanding as well. And of course, the deputies, state troopers, they were all out, stretched thin, doing everything they could. I went in the dispatch center on Friday morning, just to tell them if they're getting worn out by somebody, wanting to know when they're going to get some relief. And if they need to move that person on, to give them my telephone number, and I'd be glad to talk to them. Took me about 30 minutes before all of them could catch their breath so they could listen to what I had to say. They were all busy the entire time. It took 30 minutes for them to be able to get a break to come to. And then the linemen, I don't think I mentioned them. Everybody was glad to see the Southside Electric and Dominion Power linemen come through. And that was sight for sore eyes. I'm not exactly sure. I guess the storms hit down south first, and they were still cleaning up from Florence. Maybe as much emergency help that we would look for at times just wasn't available, but the folks that were here just did a wonderful job. And as of right now, every Dominion Power customer in Amelia County is online. And at 4:30, there were 82 Southside Electric customers out. The emergency squad responded to one call the day of the storm from after 4 o'clock. They had 4 calls on Friday, 9 calls on Saturday, and people were able to sort of come out from under things and see what was going on. 3 on Sunday. The fire department, the 911 center had 403 calls on Thursday from the time the rain started at 5 o'clock until midnight. Friday, they had 341 calls. Saturday, they had 194. Sunday, they had 128. The fire department responded to 35 calls. Not 35 guys, but they had 35 calls on Thursday when everything was flooded. They had 16 on Friday, 18 on Saturday, and 7 on Sunday. The sheriffs had 74 calls for service on Thursday, 62 on Friday, 35 on Saturday, and 34 on Sunday. And as of 4:30, 614 is shut down in 2 places. The bridge below Reams is in the bridge at the line. 637, which is South Giles Road, is shut down over at the dance hall. Look upon Jones's Lake.
Jones Lake.
They're shut down at Jones's Lake. 643 at Mint Creek is shut down just below Clementown Road, and Rotterfield Road is shut down still. So that we're going to have to drive around detours and deal with this stuff for a while. The one thing that I am the most happy about is there were no calls for service for an ambulance for a medical or trauma emergency during the actual rainstorm. So there was nobody hurt during the actual event, and that's a small miracle in itself. So that is the report for the responses from both the staff around here, the sheriff's office, and all our volunteers, the firemen especially. There's just so many of them. I've got a smaller report from the Extension Service. Extension Service is reporting that the corn, the top of the corn, we're about 50% through our harvest. Top of most corn stalks has been broken off. So halfway on down seems to be standing up pretty well. If we can get some dry weather and go ahead and get the stuff shelled and put into bins, they think we're going to be okay. Same thing for beans. The beans really didn't take much of a beating. They pretty much moved on to defoliation, sped that process up a little bit, but they feel pretty comfortable if we just don't get into a situation where we're having too much moisture and cause some of the seed to rot with the ocean. All right, any questions about what's going on there? All right, the other thing.
I do. How did the sewer plant make out?
8 inches of water fell It's only got one place to go, downhill. So it went through our plant. The road stayed up, but we had a lot of water go through there.
But no infrastructure damage.
None that we're aware, none that I'm aware of. And I think I would know now, by now. if
By
something-
now, you probably have done.
Okay. Excellent.
Also, I had a constituent ask me the other night, if there was a event where they lost all communication, where would they go? Is there a shelter plan, like
There
the
is a
schools, and where can they find that plan if they want to know what it is?
Well, the sheriff's office would be directing folks there. Ken Emerson has got the plan together. It's at one of the schools. We were talking about moving it over to the high school.
I
because it's
know it was
bigger.
at the elementary.
The generator was the problem.
But it's
there.
documented somewhere.
There's a plan. And the shelter operations are run by the Department of Social Services.
Right.
That they take the lead on that. All right, and the other thing that I've got a smaller update on is the situation with the water tower. Since the last meeting, Daryl Goff, Public Works Director, has been in contact with U.S. Underwater Services Commercial Dive Team. He has communicated with them. He's gotten some information from them, and it's been forwarded to Freeman Jones, Randy Jones. We call him Randy. He's a civil engineer for B&B Consultants out of South Hill. They run our water plant. None of this stuff has been done in Virginia, so we certainly have to run them through the process and run it by the Department of Health. So Daryl Goff has the following. He asked Randy, checking to see if he had a chance to look at the attachments. The attachments were the information provided by U.S. Underwater Services. Once you have time to review, we would like to look into getting approval from ODW. That's the Office of Drinking Water down in Danville. If you have any questions about the process, Rachel has been very helpful, so feel free to call her. Like I said below, the two concerns we have are the amount of water we can provide for the process while keeping up with the daily demand of 100,000 gallons. We can do it while school is out to lower the daily demand. The other issue is slurry. Since then, a couple of other things have come up. He's checking with Southern Corrosion to see if they've ever partnered with a subcontractor like this. And Randy, on October the 5th, which was last week before the storm, said that he was going to talk to ODW to see what they will require to be submitted as far as a plan of action and disinfection methods. So it's something that's going to be heavily regulated by the Health Department and the Office of Drinking Water. And Daryl has got that underway. Now, next Monday, we're also meeting with the Health Department in Daryl's office about the potential tank replacement. So there will be a meeting on that Monday. Roy Soto is the engineer with the Department of Health. We'll have him, we'll have the CRC there, we'll have our engineers there. So we're still investigating that, pushing that project along.
When is that meeting?
That meeting is Monday.
At the same time as the Planning Commission joint meeting?
No, sir. That meeting
Day?
is at 3 p.m. No? I'm sorry. That meeting is Tuesday, the 23rd at 10 a.m.
Okay.
I don't, it's over there. Department of Health is bringing 3 people. Great day.
Good.
2, 3, 4. 4 people, and we've got an engineer for us, as well as Todd Fortune that's going to be there. So that's where we are with the 2 things going on with the water system.
Okay. All right, questions or comments from board members?
Mr. Chairman, I asked Mr. Harvey a question. Bringing stuff to date on broadband, I had it in my remarks, but I'd rather do it right now, I guess, this time.
The broadband project we're still working, trying to hammer out the agreements between Dinwiddie, Amelia, and the provider.
Are we
We're
close?
still working on it.
Close?
I couldn't say.
Everybody in this county is begging for broadband. If they got a computer or iPhone or just anything that has to do with communications, the current provider of most of the stuff is kind of far behind, and people are just begging for this. So they don't know how you expedite it any faster, but we need it bad. Thank you, Ms. Hall.
I will, it's a point there, I went to an economic development thing over on the Eastern Shore. Week before last, there were counties from Maryland, Delaware, Pennsylvania, and Virginia there. And that's the number one thing on everybody's radar. That is, broadband is the number one issue that those folks were talking about.
Back in the late 30s, early 40s, electricity was a problem, and it took them a while to hammer out that, the agreements and so forth, and the service area responsibilities, and that whole ball of wax. So it's not going to happen overnight. It'll happen, but it's not going to happen overnight. But there's some progress has been made. I know I've talked to some of my colleagues in Dinwiddie, and they're just as eager and anxious as we are. But we know that, you know, it'll happen. It'll take a little time, but it'll happen.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
The day that Mr. Scott and I went up to DC, in that meeting, somebody from Loudon spoke to us and said, you know, how can Loudon have 75% of all internet traffic and 10 miles away they had nothing? Nothing to begin for its high-speed internet. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
That's all I've got, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's see here. That takes us through the agenda. As you indicated, quarterly reports are included for our review. Board members' comments, District 1.
Yeah, I could go. You can't get the Cumberland County from a million now. It's all of their bridges are knocked out, and Appomattox River still up. Fells Road is the problem. There's a couple other things. Chief Deputy Les Moyer was crushed by a tree. I think he got his shoulder and one leg. He was in pretty critical condition. I saw him just a few hours before that in uniform, in a tractor, moving a tree over the road that wouldn't fit in this building. So he was a very dedicated individual, and I certainly saw it working on that prayers work. Also, North Carolina lost a trooper this morning at 12:15. When the North Carolina South Carolina border stopped the truck. After that, the truck ran, got hung up on the river of the track, but it didn't do anything. So I think it's okay.
All right. District 2.
Yeah, I'd just like to add also that I spent yesterday afternoon at a Go Virginia broadband meeting, and all the big players were there, Sprint, AT&T, Verizon. They talked a lot about what might happen, but they're looking at, and the governor is looking at a 10-year plan to get broadband to everybody. By that time, the technology is going to be obsolete. We'll be on to the next thing. And also, Monday night, I had a town hall, as most of you probably saw on the monitor. It was really great, I think. I had 15 people, 5 of which were not even from my district. They came because they're interested in the issues. And somebody said at the last meeting that they talk to the constituents all the time and never get any bad feedback about what we do here. Well, I can assure you there's plenty of it out there. And I encourage you other board members to maybe have some town hall meetings as well to get some feedback.
All right. Thank you, sir. District 3.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. On Saturday after I cleaned up in the morning and then at noon, there was the dedication and unveiling ceremony over on 681 for Reverend McDowell Delaney. So anyway, I took some time so I could go over to that. Had a good presentation, and then the unveiling of that marker, which is near where Pride's Lane comes onto 681. So anyway, there were quite a few folks at the dedication, and so it's a good opportunity for me to be there. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. District 4.
No, I had broadband written down. We've already talked about it. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, and District 5, I think I've made enough comments. The only thing I would say is I know I have a replacement to make David to the planning commission, and I've got the name that I'm going to just add it to next month's agenda. I've got a name. I'll share that with you. Okay. Yes.
If I could add, Mr. Whitaker is talking about that dedication. Emmanuel Hyde, the fellow who spearheaded that, he's going to be at the next board meeting to give a presentation.
Good.
And Les Moore is going to have his second operation in the morning. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers.
Right. All right. We got public hearing coming up with, joint public hearing coming up with the planning commission, correct?
Yes, sir, Monday night at 7:30. Special exceptions permit. I have had no comments from the public at all on that. It's pretty clean permit. We'll go through the motions.
7:30 with the planning commission, Monday night.
And there will probably be a joint public hearing in November also.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else to come before us?
Only other thing I might add is your next meeting is the 21st, which is the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And if anybody was so inclined to move it up or back a week, now would be the time to do it. And we've met on the day before Thanksgiving before, but I just wanted to call everybody's attention to it.
I noticed that also. I have no problem with.
I don't know. Problem at all. Yeah.
Okay, good. I'm glad you mentioned that though. All right, is there a need for a continued meeting?
No, sir.
A need for a closed meeting?
No, sir.
Okay, then I need a motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Got a motion for discussion on the motion. Not all those in favor, let it be known by the use sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have the motion adjourned. Thank those of you who came and shared and participated. Thank you so much. Hey, David.